So, in which ways you believe artificial intelligence and generative AI can revolutionize marketing and go-to-market approaches for enterprises?
Yeah, this is such an interesting question because I think we live at a point in time when all of us are aware that AI is out there and that there's massive opportunity, but that same product, that same digital human could honestly, at some point in the not too very distant future, replace a sales team member or certainly replace a sales engineer. And in the very short term, already can be a co pilot for someone on the sales team in their calls if they need to answer specific questions. And to be profitable and efficient in your growth, you can't just throw money at problems, right? You have to be very granular in how you identify what are the channels that are performing. And I think the saying I've always heard is you might not lose your job to AI, but you will lose your job to someone who knows how to use AI. And so be that person who knows how to use AI.
Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to your own Silicon Valley Tech Talks channel. This is your host, Faisal from San Jose, California. In today's show, we're going to talk about marketing and go-to-market aspects for products, and especially how new technologies such as AI can change these approaches for enterprises. We're fortunate to have Kathleen Booth as our guest today. Kathleen is Senior Vice President at Pavilion, a global 10,000 plus members community of go-to-market executives. Before Pavilion, Kathleen was CEO and founder of a global marketing agency, Quitain Marketing. She has also held executive leadership roles at VC-backed technology companies such as Clean.io and Tradeswell. Kathleen was named by TopRank among top 50 marketeers and by USA Today among top 6 global marketeers who are rising stars. So without any further delay, let's go and talk to Kathleen and learn from her insights. Hi, Kathleen. Welcome to our show. How are you doing today?
I'm great, Faisal. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on the show.
Cool. So, Kathleen, for the benefit of our audience, can you briefly tell us the core value proposition of Pavilion and how does it provide value to its members?
Absolutely. Pavilion is the world's largest private community for go to market leaders. And our mission is to help those individual leaders achieve their full professional potential. And we do that through our community, educational programs, in person events, and proprietary research and insights.
Great. You have worked with thousands of executives, I believe, on go-to-market and marketing throughout your career. And go-to-market is critical for any product success. So, what are the common pitfalls in go-to-market strategy which you would recommend leaders to avoid?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that underlies really so many of the pitfalls, because there are certainly long lists, but I would say the biggest theme to me is around silos. And I think it can be traced back to the fact that most go to market teams, most organizations have grown up in a way where they purchase technology, but it's isolated technology that serves specific teams. They're solutions that maybe the marketing team buys or the sales team buys. And then that coupled with the fact that the teams are organized functionally. There's marketing, there's sales, there's customer success, there's product. And then what all of that does is the siloed tech stacks, the functional teams, it all leads to siloed problem solving and planning. And really, it's very interesting to just kind of note over the last few years how the term go to market has taken off in its usage. And what I've noticed is that it's really referring to this need to drive more cross-functional alignment, to look at go to market as a true operating system of the business and not something that one team owns or a particular person is in charge of. This is something that requires real alignment across the company. And when you don't have that alignment, it manifests itself in a variety of ways. It could be manifesting itself as, the people always say, oh, sales and marketing and customer success are out of sync, or For example, you're having trouble forecasting revenue because your teams aren't communicating, or you're doing good forecasting at the individual team level, but the sum total of that is not adding up to the revenue that your company needs to hit its growth targets, or your churn is bad, or you have too many initiatives happening at once because everybody hasn't focused in on the things that are really going to drive go-to-market success. So there are a lot of ways that those problems manifest, but they can all be traced back to this lack of alignment, this siloed nature through which most companies have approached go-to-market. And so to me, like the biggest opportunity really to solve for companies that want to have best-in-class go-to-market, that want to drive growth, it's really all about making sure that go-to-market is seen as a cross-cutting initiative across the company and breaking down those silos.
So these days, there's pretty much no domain or space which cannot benefit from artificial intelligence. So in which ways you believe artificial intelligence and generative AI can revolutionize marketing and go-to-market approaches for enterprises?
Yeah, this is such an interesting question because I think we live at a point in time when all of us are aware that AI is out there and that there's massive opportunity, but I just think that most of us, and I would include myself in this, don't even still have a full grasp of what's going to be possible with AI. And so right now, what we're really suffering from in go-to-market and B2B tech is a failure of imagination. Because when you talk to most go-to-market operators about how they're using AI, they'll cite mostly generative AI tools. They'll say, oh, we're using ChatGPT, or maybe they have a private version, or they're using, a solution to create images. But generative AI is just one, subset of the broader AI tool set. And so I am looking at it and thinking, gosh, the possibilities are endless. I think first we have to educate our teams on what is possible and then build a culture that encourages daily usage of it, because I think that's the other issue, is that people are used to solving their problems in a certain way and they don't immediately default to, oh, how can AI do this? But I can give you some examples of what we're doing and how we're thinking about it at Pavilion. And I would say I would give us a middling grade on how we're doing with AI, because we are doing a lot of really interesting things with, specifically, I mean, our whole team uses ChatGPT, but we also use Copy AI. Um, and we do a lot of automation. And so, for example, today, when somebody comes to our website, we're able to de-anonymize that visitor. We can scrape their LinkedIn profile, and we can use what we find there to create first drafts of personalized emails for our sales team to do outreach to those people. And some of that is automated. We have a really interesting partner that we're working with that I would say is more on the forefront of where things are going. And that partner is building a digital human for us. And that digital human is going to be my co-MC at our conference coming up. But that same product, that same digital human, could honestly, at some point in the not too very distant future, replace a sales team member, or certainly replace a sales engineer. And in the very short term, already can be a co-pilot for someone on the sales team in their calls if they need to answer specific questions. And that digital human can not only answer those questions with emotion, they can actually pull up and share slides when they do it. And so I think that that's a really interesting area that a lot of people feel like is science fiction. They'll say, oh, I saw that movie, Her. And, they think it's something in the future because they saw it in a movie, but it's already here and happening. And so I think, to me, going back to my initial point, like the biggest issue right now is this failure of imagination, but it has the potential to touch every part of the go-to-market motion.
So digital marketing has been traditionally a B2C play. In your view, how can enterprises in B2B space benefit from digital marketing?
Yeah, it's an interesting question because at Pavilion, we actually kind of straddle that line. We have a B2B part of our business, and then we also have a B2C part. And we almost have an element of our business that's e-commerce like. And the interesting thing about e-commerce businesses, I used to actually work in e-commerce SaaS also, is that those businesses live or die by the performance of their websites and by their ability to affect outcomes through direct response marketing. And so they are highly performance oriented, highly data driven. They have very experimental cultures that are really agile and move quickly and iterate. And I think in B2B, because we have longer sales cycles, because a lot of things are more sales led and attribution can sometimes be trickier, I think we sometimes lean on that as a crutch, and we are not as data and performance driven as those B2C marketers have to be by necessity. And so I do think over the last 2 years, this is starting to shift though, because with a lot of venture capital starting to dry up or become harder to get at least, I think a lot of companies are shifting their growth, or sorry, their mindset from this growth at all costs mindset to this profitable, efficient growth mindset. And to be profitable and efficient in your growth, you can't just throw money at problems, right? You have to be very granular in how you identify what are the channels that are performing, how can we make small tweaks that will improve our performance. And I think that that's starting to bring B2B marketers a little closer to B2C marketers in terms of the mindset that they bring to the job. And it's forcing them to become more data driven and performance oriented.
So, Kathleen, I'm sure a lot of students, new entrepreneurs, and technologists are listening to you right now through this platform. Are there any innovation opportunities in marketing and go-to-market space which you would recommend these people to explore?
It's a great question. Back when I studied marketing, I looked at it as more of an art than a science. And, we all watched Mad Men and we thought that it was about creativity and coming up with new ideas and slogans. And I think that that's part of marketing. But I guess my suggestion is that the area that's ripest for innovation and most kind of opportune for people who want to lean in and get ahead and position themselves for success in the future is really two things. And it goes back to what I just talked about. Number one is to really think of marketing as like more of a scientific and a mathematically driven profession, and to not lean on the crutch of just your creative chops, but to really master building models and understanding the data and being able to use that data to drive great decision making. The most scientific marketers I know are the most successful. In fact, some of the best marketers I've ever hired come from engineering undergraduate degrees because they take that really like data driven and mathematical approach. And so I think that's number one. And number two is to lean into AI and to make it your business, to make yourself an expert on what AI is, what is a large language model, what is natural language processing, what does all of this mean, and where is it heading? And follow that information, whether you think it applies to marketing or not, because the truth is pretty soon it's going to apply to everything. And so you have to understand AI. And I think the saying I've always heard is you might not lose your job to AI, but you will lose your job to someone who knows how to use AI. And so be that person who knows how to use AI.
Well said, Kathleen. Thank you so much for your insights and participating in our show. I'm sure audience learned a lot from your insights.
Thanks for having me, Faisal.
Thank you.